of customers at different times and enable them to get great discounts and try new products in different marketplaces.
One of the really cool things about Groupon that I think you've done is you're big in the U.S., but you've become enormous outside the U.S. So maybe talk a little bit about your international strategy and how that grew.
So Groupon was founded in 2008 by Andrew Mason, and we were a domestic business up until about May 2010. At that point in time, we raised a little bit of capital and we went on an acquisition binge to actually go out and expand our marketplace so that we can be first mover in those markets. We went to Europe first, and then we went on to Japan, Russia, China. We're in the APAC region. We're in Latin America. We just recently got into South Africa, so we're expanding into 46 countries now, and we're over 500 markets around the world.
So it's a global operation. You've grown to 46 countries in 2 years.
Correct.
And your title is International Controller.
Yes.
So that must be a hard job.
It is. It's, as you can imagine, it's quite a challenge. Being at that pace of growth, we have multiple accounting systems that are out there. So one of the things we started taking a look at with Transforming Solutions and Dan Feely and Lang Gren this year was take a look at, well, where do we want to be? How do I get onto one platform? I have multiple accounting systems, multiple other systems that feed in. So we wanted to get to one platform, one component, and make a move rather quickly.
And you also had an insane, they call it Groupon time or something, the speed at which Groupon moves. You also had an insane requirement for how fast you wanted to consolidate these international subs.
Correct. So some of the guys we work with came up with a term called Groupon speed, and things move very quick. And being in the international market, somebody is always awake. Somebody, my team is not in the United States or everywhere else, so somebody is always awake, always looking for information. And One World actually gives us the ability to actually see what's going on in our time and then have them look at the information in their time as well.
So you chose NetSuite, I think it was like March 31st or something, and talk about a little bit about the go live,
sure.
the Groupon time experience with NetSuite.
So as part of the selection process, we started to take a look at, well, what do we want to be? Where do we want to go? What systems do we really want to utilize? So as we were looking at some of the vendors, we obviously looked at the big boys. We looked at them and, they were very cost prohibitive. The speed to implementation was 3 to 6 months minimum. And then it's that ongoing cost of maintenance. You have to have 3 to 4 people to babysit the servers. You got to maintain the server components. You're constantly doing upgrades. That's why we came to the conclusion that software as a service was an opportunity for us to take a look at things a little bit different. It gives us real-time data. So we started to take a look at what other vendors are out there in the software as a service arena, and we take a look at NetSuite, as well as a whole host of other ones. Some of the things we're looking at is I needed a multinational organization. A lot of my accountants, English is a second language, so the ability to have them transact in their local languages was extremely important to me. NetSuite does a tremendous job of offering all those different languages that are out there. Multi-company was another one. I have regional CFOs in EMEA, APAC, Latin America, and North America. As we consolidate up the results, NetSuite gives me the ability to only let people see the information that they're allowed to see, such that they can look at their numbers, understand their numbers. If they want to flip the currency to euro, if they want to flip it to local currency or US dollars, we can have conversations in the same language and infrastructure components that we have, so we can speak about what's going on in the numbers.
That's fantastic. And one of the great things about this implementation, I think you went live in 5 countries in something like 6 weeks. The target is 26 countries in 3 months or something?
Correct. So we actually signed the contract in early February. Our first countries were up within 6 weeks. We have 10 countries that will be rolling on by the end of the month. And by the end of Q2, we'll have 26 organizations around the world on NetSuite.
That's fantastic. Well, that's what we're talking about the power of the solution, but the agility. If you had chosen a traditional application, it wouldn't be 3 to 6 months. It would be 3 to 6 months per sub.
Correct.
If you were lucky.
And, with our acquisition strategy, it gives us the ability to easily assimilate new organizations into our infrastructure. Here's the common chart of accounts, here's the accounting tool, here's how we operate. NetSuite has a lot of great functionalities that people don't realize. Document management. We use it to store all our policies and procedures. We use it to communicate. We use it for calendaring events. As you mentioned, a lot of the task components, I'm starting to figure out how I can start utilizing those. So if somebody spends more than $50,000, send me an email. I want to know what these guys are doing such that we can address things in real time as opposed to waiting when the books are actually closed.
Fantastic. Well, it's really an honor to work with you. Thank you for choosing NetSuite, betting on NetSuite.
Great.
Glad to be a part of this. John Boss, everyone.